and it's not, and they'll all be the same size and different from these pictures right now, which are all different sizes.
We also have certain things implemented here where you can zoom in, zoom out. We thought about limiting the size of the window to only the map. However, we decided against that because in case the user of the tour wants to see where their hotel is in respect to the campus, they can use that as well. We also thought in case the user accidentally swipes over here, they might want to go back to the tour, so we had a reset map button, which goes back to the location of the page. We made it transparent so that if it's on the smartphone, it doesn't take away from the tour. Now we're on Gargoyles.
So the goals for our next 2 weeks are for the analytics page, we need to create a CSS formatting for the phones and the computers. For the map page, that me, Elias, and Travis will do, we need to allow the that Levi and Michael needs to allow the map page to have alternate paths, geolocation, and be where the users are, and correct images for locations. And for the media page that me, Travis, and Elias will do, we need to create proper style sheets for the media page. Continue the implementation of the J carousel, which will enable the user to cycle through the media and link the media page to the database for more structured file hierarchy. And also we need to standardize the main display to handle standalone images, slideshow, and video as
the majority of our work.
Can you give me those goals in English so I know how it's going to change what's actually out there?
Yes. The analytics page, it's pretty much done functionality-wise. All we need to do is to make it look a little bit cleaner. Also, we might change the formatting of it based on if it's on a phone size this large, a tablet, or the computer. So that's all that the analytics page needs. The map page, it's pretty much has the standard path. And what we would like to do is have it so that you can select whatever locations that you would like to go to. And then you can pick those locations and give it an alternate path. So you're not going all the way up to Mercer Village if you just want to see the engineering building in Medford. Our first step is going to be take all the outliers of the tour, such as Mercer Village, and if they don't want to go to those areas, we are going to remove them from the tour. Because if you notice here, Mercer Village is pretty far out of the way, and there's no need for the user to go all the way up here if they're not going to look at around it. As awesome as prank cars are, they don't need to go up there. So we're going to originally just take out the outliers of those the tour, and then once we have that done, we'll know how to switch the markers around well enough so we can just make basically make a path from each location and possibly do Dijkstraat if we get that far into it. We're also geolocation, which means that finds out currently where the user currently is. It will have a separate marker of a different color showing where the user currently is, and it will update it every 30 seconds. That way the user can see where they are on the map in case they can't tell based on the things they see on the map. And also correct images for locations. Currently the images are all the University Center, but that's a very quick fix once we have the proper image, or use the proper images for each location.
And for the proper style sheet for the media page, right now the images are different sizes, so we need a correct style sheet so we can correctly put the images into a as you can see at the top there, the images are one is bigger than the other one. We need to have all the same size, so as you click on each one of them, they'll still be the same size across via the video or images or JPEG. And alright, and then right now we're trying to implement the J carousel so the user can actually cycle through the pictures that we were just talking about. That each picture can just cycle through because we're going to have a lot of images, and so we need to cycle through each one and link it to the media page for the database.
What we're hoping to do here is have each each point of interest on the tour have its own table of media in the database.
I don't care about the database.
Huh?
I want to know how it affects the user experience. I don't care about the database.
I care about the database.
Okay. You can care about the database.
Alright, well, okay, as far as user experience goes, right now we don't have any other points of interest set up except the CS page, which was just done for testing purposes. So we're hoping to get all of the media for all of the points of interest collected in a database so that the user can see every single point that they need to. Hoping to get the database set up in a structured way so that media page standard template, we just need to change maybe one variable. We can use the same one over and over again just based on which point of interest we're going to. If you can capture from the map page that is linking into media page. And as far as standardizing the main display right now, all we're doing, we're still working on different other functionality options. And so we're going to set up the main display on the media page to be able to show video and handle Flickr accounts. So that way you can do a slide share to a Flickr account or watch a video instead of just seeing a static image. And that's the rest of that's our goals for the next 2 weeks.
The other reason we want to use the database, currently we use it for the map page. It would be easy to add current, if let's say a new location arrives, it would be easier to implement that. So it wouldn't be as much for the user, but for the admissions office, it would make it easier to add a new location, such as a football field, let's say. So, do we have any other questions for us?
Are you done with the presentation?
Yes, for sure.
What were the, can you go back, or I think you had a slide where you were talking about the user requirements. I want to know what the user requirements are. Your client, what's their requirements?
That's the functional non-functional
Okay.
Well, what we need from the client are the images and videos from our.
No, what is the requirement?
Yeah, this right here is the listing of the requirements that we got from meetings with the client and
So they want a
contact back
website
and
that will
forth.
capture information. They want a map page that'll show points of interest. And what was the business requirement driving that?
Business requirement.
Yeah.
The problem is to allow for a virtual tour to possible future students who are unable to make it to campus on a day that a tour is given by a tour guide from the admissions office.
Okay, so is this something that's going to help me? Because I wasn't able to come on a scheduled day.
Yeah, right.
I come on campus and I'm using, what if I don't have a smartphone?
You can also go to the tour on your computer.
Okay.
So, like, if you have a laptop, or even if you live too far away from campus, let's say you live in Alaska and really wanted to see Mercer, you could go on your computer and go to the tour. Obviously, you wouldn't have the geolocation capabilities of it, but you can still get a feel of what the campus is like.
Two more questions. Usability testing, what's your plans for that?
Don't really have usability
Well,
testing.
what we'll do,
Who's going to sign off on it? Is it going to be the client?
I assume it would be the combination of the client and the technological advisors would be determining whether or not it's usable. What I was thinking, you're saying like how would we know if it's?
I mean, like, are you going to, like, over at the end, go to one of the labs or invite
That's yes.
30 or 40 students to come in here?
Yes, exactly.
What's the usability testing plan?
Well,
And then is the customer involved in that going to sign off on it and say, yes, that meets the requirement?
obviously we want to have a product that the client would like. So yes, of course, we'll have the client sign off on it. Typically, people that have smartphones are slightly technological savvy, so we would find we basically find a lot of people that currently have smartphones, so they know how to use them. Have them bring them up on their own smartphones, and then see if they can get through the tour without any problems. Record those problems and fix them.
And the last one is your timeline for the deliverable. When are you supposed to have it delivered by the end of this semester, or is it something next semester?
ideally, we'd like to get it done by the end of the semester because there's a event that the admissions office like to use it for. And I believe it's December 2nd. Is that correct?
Second, third.
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd. So that's where we would like to have it. It actually is far, we focus more on the functionality of it. So a couple of pages only have like style issues. I think the goals we have for the 2 weeks to have it a complete version isn't too far-fetched.
And imagine usability testing done within that.
I believe so, yes.
I have a couple questions.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
so for the database, the template, like when we're loading in our content, would we just put it in the database and it would upload for the template?
Yes. The way we have it, we're going to
Instead
have
of you guys having to load
Right,
everything, because
yeah.
Obviously we'd like to use it after y'all have already
Exactly.
got your degree
Yes,
and
we don't want a
everything.
semester lifespan of it. Basically, we're going to have certain folders that have the images, or if we the Flickr account. If we use the Flickr account, all you have to do is put the images into the Flickr account, and then it will automatically update it onto the site. That's one reason we thought that would be good, because then you don't even have to mess with the site. It'll automatically bring it down from that.
Also, the database is not actually holding the media, it's holding links to media files. You just drag your media into those files.
Yeah, like from YouTube.
And it's going to be linked together.
Yeah.
I have a few questions. So actually, that question leads into, so you don't have any administrative pages?
We do actually. Michael has a administrative page. Do you want to explain? Yeah.
Sure. It's mostly complete. It's not implemented on the server that we got our stuff on yet because we need to modify the database for it. But basically, this is going to allow the admissions office to modify the tour. So if they want to add a place, they can simply click the map, say.
Just anywhere.
So click here, and you can add border patch, and it will be added to the tour. So later, if you come back to it, it will still be there. All that.
We're currently working on a way to implement this to have paths as well, so that you can do paths between each marker. We're just trying to find, basically the way our database is set up is we have the longitude, latitude points, the name of the location, whether or not it's visible or not. Basically, the way the paths are set up is you have the way that Google Maps API works is it basically makes a path between all your points. So if you had this is your array of points, it would make a line that goes from basically if you want to go to Connell, it would go a straight line through it, which doesn't work unless you want the user to be hopping over buildings. So we made a lot of mini points that create the path around sidewalks and whatnot. And basically we have a Boolean value which says whether or not it's visible or not. So the markers are there, but they actually don't do anything. They just use the make path function in the Google Map API. So we're trying to implement that onto this because that would not only make future additions like a football field to the tour much more easier, but also allow us to make all the possible paths between it much quicker as well.
Could you explain, I realize not all points of interest already have pages, but for example, the computer science department already has a department web page.
Yes.
So could you explain what the difference between the point of interest page that you're creating is and the department page?
Not all locations, some locations will have a department page, but not all will. Like for example, we have certain things like Connell Student Center or certain buildings might not have them. So they will have information about it and possibly images about it. We also, we'll have in the computer science, we'll give a link that goes to the actual CS website. So if they're interested in more information, they can go to those locations. So please, for more information, click here and it goes to the CS website. So we're going to include that as well so that if they do have a website, we can add that in as well.
My last question is, what devices are you testing on, and what devices do you plan to say that your application is going to be certified to work on?
We talked about this for a lot during the beginning of the semester. Originally, we were going to have an Android version and an iPhone version. The problem with that was we basically had to make two parallel programs and change a lot of syntax. So we chose HTML5, which works pretty well with all smartphones for compatibility issues. Of course, there's also browser compatibility issues that we run into now. However, we find it's a lot less